Yo, what it do, guys? Okay, so as we come at the end of the year, everybody is cleansing their sins. So I just want to do the same. You know what I mean? I know I promised you guys this tutorial like 3 weeks ago. I just been busy. That's why I haven't uploaded or done it. But today, being the second last day of the year 2025, I thought I could cleanse my sins. So let me make this tutorial for you guys. Okay, so today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use AI to steal any person's God-given talent. Yes, you heard me right. So today I'll be teaching you any talent that you want to have. You see someone has and you want to have. Today I'll be teaching you how to copy that talent, or rather steal it, you know what I mean, so that you can use it however you want. Okay, so it's not a very complicated process. I've removed all the complications from the process for you guys. Okay, I've removed all the complications, so it's just a simple step 1 2 3 which you guys can follow along. So as long as you do what I show in this tutorial, you'll be able to copy or steal any talent that you want. Okay, so it's just 3 simple steps. All right, so there are 3 types of talents. Okay, there are 3 types of talents in the world. They not 3, rather mean 2. Okay, so there are 2 types of talents in the world. So there's what we call creative talent, and then there's what we call intelligent talent. Okay, so intelligent talents are easy to mimic, or are easy to copy, but the talent which is very difficult or is very complex are what we call creative talents. Okay, so in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to copy or steal a creative talent. Okay, so now let's just go through we get a basic understanding of the difference between a creative talent and a creative talent and an intelligent talent. Okay, so let's just go through. So as you can see here, I've asked Gemini to explain so that in simple terms. So as you can see here, a creative talent and intelligent talent are often seen as 2 sides of the same coin, but in the world of psychology and neuroscience, they present a distinct mental process. Okay, while they often overlap, a concept known as a threshold. Okay, so I'll upload this explanation, the link in the description, so that you guys can go through this, so that you can have a deeper understanding of what we are trying to do here. Okay, so this is not a theory oriented tutorial, it's a practical oriented tutorial. So what I'll do is, let me just start the process and I'll explain everything as we go along. So to do this, you can do it in any IDE. You can use, as you can see, I'm using anti-gravity, but you can either use any like VS Code. You're still going to have the same results. Okay, at the end of the tutorial I'll show you guys how to use this same process in VS Code. Okay, so as you can see, the first thing you're going to create is an MD file. So just follow along. So as you can see, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file. Okay, so it's going to be an MD file. Okay, so I'm going to say So I'm going to create a Gemini MD file. All right, so this is what is going to be more like our DNA, okay, for everything we are going to be doing. Okay, so there are three, like I said, there are three stages to do this. Okay, so the first stage is we are going to create the tokens. Okay, so these tokens, so this is what we are going to use. So this is the file which will help us create the tokens. Everything here I have here I'm using, you can check the link in the description. We can download and then you can follow along. All right, so as you can see, this is what we're going to use to create the tokenizer. So the tokenizer is more like the eyes and brain of our talent, or we are going to replicate the brain or the mental processes of any person's talent we want to steal. Okay, so this is going to be the first process, the first stage rather, and then the second one is going to be, as you can see this one here, we are going to create the weights and biases for our talent. And then the last part is where now we start using our talent that we've created. Okay, so let me just do this. I create a new folder. That folder is the one which we are going to use to create our tokenizer. Okay, so I'm just going to name this new folder as the tokenizer. Okay, so this is where the brain, the eyes of our talent, this is where we're going to create. So we're going to create tokens. You don't really need to know much about how tokens work and everything, but there are a bunch of videos on YouTube you can search and you can understand this concept in more details. Okay, so this is the first stage of our process, is creating the tokenizer. Okay, so like I did previously, so what I'll do, I'll just create a file which is going to instantiate everything we do. Okay, so I'll just say, token.md. okay, so this is token.md. so in this first process, like I said, we're going to create the tokenizer. So you check the link in the description, you're going to find this, this is the tokenizer DNA. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to copy this here, everything. Okay, after you copy it, you come here and you just paste it like I've done here. As you can see, you just copy and paste. Okay, so like I've done here, you just copy and paste. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is we are going now to activate the system, so that our tokenizer, we can start now creating our tokenizer, which is the vocabulary for our agent, the one we're going to create. So that's the whole purpose of the tokenizer. Okay, so you have to follow everything I do. So for you to, so you come here, so I'm going to say I have placed the raw source material, okay, in the token.md. please learn that. So copy the way this command I'm going to use here exactly as I do. Okay, so I'm going to say I have Okay, I have pasted the raw source material. I have pasted the raw source material in the token. I have pasted. Okay, so let's just do this. For accurate results, you're just going to say instantiate my environment based on what's in. So I'm going to say instantiate my environment based on what's in. So here based on what's in this file, which is the token.md. okay, so here you have to make sure the same spelling you put here is the one you put here. Okay, so now this we're going, so this the token.md is more like the foundation for our tokenizer, for us to generate the tokenizer. Okay, so this is the token.md is the foundation. So as you can see, it's creating the foundation for us to create the tokenizer for our agent. So as you can see, it's doing everything here. Once it's done, we're going to see here they're going to be directive in other folders which will help us do what we want to do. So we can just, as you can see here, we can even see its thinking process, everything it's doing. Okay, as you can see, it's now generating the directives and everything else that's needed. All right, so as you can see everything here, so you can go through here. So here, as you can see, it shows everything it's doing, and once you notice a mistake in anything here, you can tell it to say that's not how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to do it that way, and it will update its logic. Okay, so this workflow is self-annealing, meaning it improves itself rather the more you use it. The more you use it, the better it becomes. Okay, so that's the benefit of this, is that it gets better the more you use it. Okay, so as you can see, like I said, it's creating the folders here. Okay, it's creating the folders here where everything is going to be. Okay, so we just have to wait excuse me, we just have to wait for it to be done, and then we can start generating the tokens for our talent AI agent. Okay, so as you can see, so when it's done, when we have made the tokens, this folder right here, the vocab out is where we're going to find our tokens and everything else. Okay, so this is where the output is going to be when we run it after we paste in the raw material, the raw source material. Okay, so let's just wait for it to be done. So today we're going to mimic or steal two talents. Okay, so excuse me. So there is this one. So I came across this guy. I don't know if it's really true, or if it's just something that they came up with, but this guy was explaining the logic behind the Toyota logo, the Toyota symbol. So as you can see, this is a very, very high level intellectual talent, where they're highlighting to say within the Toyota logo are hidden symbols and letters. So this is these are just some screenshots from that video. So we are going to use these screenshots to come up with the vocabulary for our AI talent agent. Okay, so these screenshots are what we're going to use as the raw material for us to do what we want to do. Okay, so here it's still doing. Okay, it is still setting up our environment. Okay, as you can see, it is still setting up our environment. So here is where we're going to put our raw input, which we are going to get from the extracting information from these screenshots. Okay, so after this one, we are also going to mimic the talent of a very famous designer. His name is Wisdom Kai. I don't know if you have butchered his name. Yeah, so he's a very talented designer, as you can see. So that's him. So what we are going to do is we are going to steal his design talent and how he comes up with this. Okay, and then make an AI that has his exact talent and taste in terms of fashion design and aesthetics. Okay, so these images are the raw data what we are going to use to do that. Okay, so we are going to extract every piece of information from these images, and that is what is going to help us to know his thinking process. Okay, and how he comes up with such great designs. Okay, and outfit, and his essentially we're going to make a digital twin of his talent. Okay, all these. Okay, so all these images, this is data we're going to use to make our AI copy of him. Okay, we are going to see. So this is the second one. We are going to mimic his talent. Okay, so here it's still working. Okay, it's still generating rather. So let's just wait for it, and then we can start working. All right guys, so let's get to it. Okay, so within the folder that you're going to download in the link in the description, you're going to find this. Okay, so now this, where as you can see, this it names as WizFHN. It's the one we're going to use to get the data from the images, okay, of this guy. Okay, of this guy and his fashion taste and everything that makes him a great designer or model or whoever dresses him. We are going to get their talent. Okay, so this right here is what we're going to use. Okay, so make sure you follow my steps exactly. Okay, so this is what we're going to use. Okay, so what you're going to do after you get this prompt, you just come to you go to Gemini. Okay, Okay. Excuse me. You come to Gemini and then you start a new chat. Okay, come to Gemini, start a new chat like I'm doing here. So what you do is you just paste that prompt in here. So you just copy it and then you paste it. Okay, like I'm doing here. So you just copy it and then you paste it here. Okay, so there's no need for you to change anything. Okay, there's no need for you to change anything in this prompt. Just do as I do. Okay, and then you paste it in, and then after that, as you can see, so after you paste in the prompt, this is the response you're going to get. So here it's going to say, please provide the image you'd like me to analyze. As a senior fashion designer, ontologist, and material scientist, I'm ready to deconstruct the garments, technical DNA, and establish the necessary references frame for the tokenizing training. Once the image is provided, I'll generate the context profile for according to your 6-layer architect framework. Okay, so this is the 6-layer architect framework, as you can see here. Okay, so here I'm going to tell it, say I'm going to give you 10 images and you should provide a DNA for every image alone. Okay, and then put them together. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm going to give you 10 images and you should give me, so I'm going to say you should give me a context profile that contains, so you should give me a context profile a context profile that contain, so I'm going to say that contains a context. Okay, so you should follow my prompt exactly so that you have accurate results, like the results I'm going to have. A context profile for each image. Okay, so here I'm going to say a master context profile that contains a context profile for each image. Okay, so yeah, I'm supposed to tell it because it's normally it's expecting, according to the way this prompt is structured, this prompt right here, it is expecting to receive one image. So that's why here I had to emphasize to say I'm going to give you 10 images so that it knows that, okay, I'm giving it 10 images and it should create a context profile for each image and then put all those context profiles in one master context profile. Okay, so as you can see, I'm ready to receive the batch of processed 10 images into a single master context profile. As you can see here, maintaining the high entropy technical rigor required for tokenizer training. By treating the images as a data set, I'll ensure the reference frame logic remains consistent across the entire profile, effectively isolating the material sign from the human noise. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is now I'm going to provide it with the images for the context profile. So okay, so there's a bunch of them. So this is the first, so this is the first batch we're going to give it. Okay, which is 10 images. Okay, so this is the first batch. As you can see, there are 3 batch. There are about how many? there are about 8 batches. Okay, so this is going to be the first one we're going to provide it with. Okay, so I'm going to select all 10 in here. Okay, I'm going to select all 10, and then so this is the first batch of images we are going to upload. Okay, so this is the first batch, and then from this we're going to create a master context profile that we're going to use now for us to create the talent DNA for our AI agent, which will have the talent of this guy, Wisdom Kai. Okay, so he's a very talented guy in the fashion industry. He's arguably one of the best in the world. Okay, yeah, one of the best in the world. So let's see what it does say. Okay, so here I'm going to say more detail, this more detail, because we need every detail we can get so that we can have an accurate representation of his talent. Okay, not okay, so we need as much detail, because if we have less detail, it's going to be very difficult for us to for us to have a full understanding of this guy's talent. So that's why we need more detail. So I'm going to say this is not enough for what you're trying to do. Okay, this is not enough. Give me all the details. Don't. Okay, so I'm going to say you shouldn't leave any detail out. Okay, don't leave anything out. Okay, so I'm going to say give me all details. Don't leave anything. Yeah, don't leave anything out, basically, so that we have every detail for all the images. Okay, and then it's going to put in the master context profile. All right, okay, so as you can see, now we have much detail. Okay, so as you can see, layer 1, so as you can see, we have much detail. Yeah, as much as we can have. So the more detail we have, the more accurate our tokenizer is going to be, so that we have an accurate representation of the talent we are trying to mimic. Okay, so this is the first batch. Okay, so this is the first batch. Okay, so I'm just going to copy it, and then I'm going to create just a new file where I'm going to store all these batches, and then later I'll pass them to the tokenizer in the next stage. Okay, so let me just delete this last part. parts rather which are not necessary for what we are trying to do. Okay, so as you can see, okay, so now let's go in with our second batch. Okay, so I'm going to say can I give you some more? Okay, so I'm going to give it some more. So I'm just asking this question deliberately so that it just knows all the tokens in this chat window. It knows that I'm going to give it more. I would have gone directly, but it's not very efficient to go directly. But adding this comment to say can I give you more makes it the output I'm going to get more accurate. Okay, as you can see. Okay, so I'm going to give it more. So I'm going to give it the second batch. So this was our first, so we're going to go to our second, which is this one. Okay, so this is this one. Okay, so this is the second batch for our tokenizer, the one we're going to use. Okay, so this is the second batch right here. So the end result is going to be very shocking. Okay, let's just get to the end result so that you guys see what we are, how accurate and how good this is going to be. It's going to be more like we are literally inside the brain of this guy, or we are downloading his brain into our AI agent. Okay, the results are going to be shocking. You're going to see. Okay, so this is the second batch. Okay, so where is it? It's this one. Okay, so this is the where we are storing all our context profile. So let me just save it and name it. So I'm going to say context profile, context profiles. Okay, then I'm going to store it here. So this folder, you're going to have access to everything. Okay, the link will be in the description so that you can follow along step by step. If you're feeling too lazy to come out to create your own tokenizer, you can just be able to copy this and then paste it in the tokenizer and you'll be good to go. Okay, yeah. Okay, so okay, so I'm looking for the top part so that I can remove some parts which may not be very useful. Okay, Okay, so this is I'm not satisfied with this context profile. I think it's also toned down. Okay, we need as much detail as we can. Okay, yeah, so I think it will be better if we tell it again. I thought it will remember to say I asked for it to give me more details, but from the looks of this output here, it has left out some details. So I would encourage you to, whenever you are generating the context profiles, to tell it to say it should give you more details. Okay, so that way you have accurate representation. Okay, yeah, so here I think I'm just going to undo this so that we have accurate representation from top down. Okay, yeah, so this is the second one. So what we're going to do is we're going just to delete this because it leaves out a lot to be desired. Okay, yeah, leaves out a lot to be desired. So now let's get this one which has more representation. Okay, so this one has more representation. It's the one we're going to use. Okay, yeah, so let's just go with this one. As you can see, this one has more granular representation of the data which is in the images. Yeah, so we're going to go with this one. Okay guys, so I'm back. So I extracted all the informations from all the images raw source material I had, and now let's pass this information to the tokenizer so that it creates the tokens for all this raw information. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here. So as you can see, if you remember, this is what we created last time. So I'm going to come to the raw corpus folder. Okay, right here. Okay, so and then I'm going to create a new file. So this new file, I'm just going to call it wisdom DNA. Okay, so I'm going to call it wisdom DNA. So this is all the raw information we have extracted from the images we got for wisdom. Okay, so this is the, yeah, so I'm just going to say wisdom DNA. Okay, so as you can see, so here in the raw corpus, so and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in that information. Okay, so as you can see, so this is all the information we got from wisdom. So now after I've pasted this in here, and now I'm going to tell this agent to say, now can you create tokens from this. Okay, so now after I tell it that, it's now going to create tokens, okay, which we are going to use as the brain and eyes for our agent. Okay, the one we're going to use as the brain and eyes for our agent. So here what I'm going to say is I have placed the raw source material. Okay, so I'm going to tell you to say I have placed the raw source material. So you have to follow all my steps exactly as I do. Okay, even the prompts, the way I'm writing these prompts, that's how you're supposed to write them. Okay, for you to have accuracy in terms of the results that you're going to create, that you're going to get. Okay, so it's very important that you follow my steps exactly for you to have accurate information, or to have an agent that is accurate and precise. Okay, in the raw corpus folder. Okay, so then I'm going to say, so I'm going to say please so I'm just going to say please create the tokens. Okay, so right now it's going to create, so it's going to check what I've pasted in here, and then it's going to create. So as you can see, it's now going to create the tokens and everything else. Okay, so as you can see here, analyzed wisdom DNA, so that's the raw information we pasted in. So after it's done, we are going to have the output here in this folder, which is the vocab output. So right now, as you can see, it's running, so it's creating, it's tokenizing all the raw information we pasted in. Okay, so now let's just look at the person, or the person we are trying to mimic. As you can see, this guy is a very talented fashion designer. Okay, if you're on Instagram, you can check him out. He's very talented. Like, I don't know if he's the one who designs this. If he's the one, then he's talented, or if he's not the one, then the person who designed this is very talented, and that's the talent we are going to copy or steal, or however you like to view it. Okay, as you can see, how he come up with it. Everything here is very creative. Look at this. Okay, everything, all his outfits are intentional, and you can feel the art in his dress code, rather, just by looking at it. Okay, and this is what we're going to create: an AI agent that does exactly this and even better. Okay, just look at this. Very artistic. Look at this. Okay, yeah, so that's what we are doing here. We are creating that same talent, or that same person with the same talent. Okay, so as you can see, so here it's executing, it's generating the tokens and everything else. And then after this, we're going to use again the same raw data, which is this, which we got from extracting the information from our previous step. Okay, this same raw data, we're going to use it to create now the weights and biases for our AI agent. Okay, so one thing about talent, each person has weights and biases, and that's more like the spice which makes them unique and create unique art. Okay, so we're also going to extract those weights and biases for this person, for them to be able to come up with such. And then, so once we know the weights and biases, it's now going to be very easy for us to mimic that talent, or to have the same exact talent as that. Okay, because without the weights and biases, it's very difficult for the large language model or this agent to produce the same results in terms of accuracy. Okay, yeah, so that's why it's very, very important. Okay, so as you can see, so now let's check out. Okay, so it's in them because it's not detected in your environment. Please install Python or provide. Okay, so as you can see, so in this environment we don't have the Python extension. Okay, created in your environment, so I think we need to install the Python. Okay, Python extension, so that this can learn successfully. Okay, so I'm not sure which, so as you can see here, okay, Python environment, so which Python, because Python is not detected in environment. Okay, so let me just install Python and then we will be back. Alright guys, so as you can see here, I went ahead and installed Python. So I'm just going to come back here and tell it to say I have installed Python. Okay, so now hopefully it's now going to continue where it left from now that I have installed Python. Okay, okay, so as you can see, so it has detected that Python has been installed. So now it's now going to generate the tokens for the vocabulary. Okay, so let's just wait for it. Now that we have installed Python, okay, so as you can see now, so it's using Python to do all the calculations, okay, for it to generate the tokens. Okay, so it's generating the tokens as you can see here. Okay, so yeah, so this is the second step in a 4-step process. So this is arguably the most hard part, the part where you have to generate the tokens. Everything after this becomes easy. Okay, it's just a walkover. Okay, everything that comes after this is the hardest part, the part where you have to generate the tokens. Okay, so as you can see, waiting for tokenizer training to complete, so we are almost done. Okay, okay, so as you can see, okay, so it's tokenizer. So okay, so it looks, so let's check here in the vocab. So as you can see here, so okay, so we have completed the most hard part of this tutorial, which is creating the token. So as you can see here, so this is the tokenizer JSON. Okay, so as you can see, so this is, so we have created the tokenizer as you can see. So this is tokenizer. Okay, right, so this is the vocabulary for a tokenizer. I think it made a mistake somewhere. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start this process all over again. I'm going to say, tell it to say create the tokenizer, so that it starts all over again, because this is not how the tokenizer is supposed to be. Okay, so we're just going to delete this and then tell it to start all over again. Okay, so we're going to tell it to start all over again. Because that's not how the tokenizer is supposed to be. Okay, I'm just checking here. It seems there's something missing in the directives. Okay, so I think we're going to undo everything so that we start all over again. Okay, because it's supposed to have something in the directives. Okay, so let's start all over again. Okay, so let's see, maybe we made a mistake somewhere here. Everything here looks good, so let's just redo it again. So okay, so we're supposed to have something in the directives, okay, which is going to direct the tokenizer on how it's supposed to do its work, on how it's supposed to go about generating the tokens and everything. Okay, so it was empty, so I'm starting all over again here, as you can see, so that we have something there in the directives folder. Okay, okay, so we are starting all over again. Okay, so let's see. Okay, okay, so let's start the process over again. So now that we have installed Python, so that there is no mismatch. Okay, so that there's no mismatch in our process. Okay, so so it has made the environment, so like I did previously. So I'm going to say wisdom DNA. Okay, so I'm going to get our context profile. Okay, and then I'm going to paste it in here. Okay, so I'm going to paste it in here. So I'm going to say I have pasted the raw data in the raw corpus folder. Okay, I've pasted the data in the raw corpus folder. So that now it starts creating the tokens. Okay, yeah, so now it's going to create the tokens. Without that pause for where we didn't have the python installed. Okay, so now we have python installed, so it's just going to walk through directly and get to work. Okay, so let's just wait for it. So here it has even provided the implementation plan on how it's going to do it. So implementation directive layer, creating the organizer. I need to define rules, and then okay, and then process the raw corpus wisdom DN into a standardized text shards ready for training. Okay, so purpose defines the rules of engagement. So the vocab size, so this is the vocab size, normalization, lowercase. Okay, so this is how it's going. So this is its walkthrough on how it's going to go about generating the tokens and everything for us. Okay, so let's just wait for it. So here it's going to create a simple string script. Okay, so what it's doing here is very complicated work. Okay, so has been normalized. Okay, so this is the walkthrough. Okay, okay, so I'm here, I'm going to say looks good. Proceed. So I'm just going to say looks good. Proceed, so that it proceeds now to generate the tokens for us. Okay, so it looks good. Proceed. Okay, so now it's now going to, so since we have we have verified here the walkthrough, okay, on how it's going to do it. We said okay, it's okay, you can do it like that. Now it's going to now start the work. Okay, so now it's going to start the work, and when it's done, we're going to see here the vocabulary is going to create out. Okay, and then we can go to the next stage of our tutorial. Okay, so like I said, this is the most difficult part of this tutorial. Okay, this is where we're going to find if anything is going to be challenging. This is the part where any things are going to be challenging. After this, everything is simple and straightforward. All right, so let's just wait for it. Okay, so this is the images. Okay, so looks like it's still working on it, so let's just wait. Okay, so here these are the shards. Okay, it's still working on it. Okay. Alright guys, so we are now at a stage where we are now going to create the weights and biases for our agent. So you just have to follow the similar steps I took, okay, which is what I did previously. So here I'm going to say the same thing, to say instantiate my environment based on what's in wisdom. Okay, so here wisdom bg dot md. Okay, so now here this is the weights and biases, more like the feelings of our talent. Okay, in a nutshell is what I can say. Okay, so this is very important for us to have weights and biases so that our model can have a taste. Otherwise, if you don't have weights and biases, it's just going to be generic. All right, just going to be generic. But once we have weights and biases, the model is going to have a taste. Okay, so that's why it's very important. So we're going to have, so we already have the tokenized version of the talent, and then here what we are just creating is now the what we are creating is just the spice and feelings for our AI agent. Okay, sorry about the background noise, it's people are celebrating here. All right, based on what's in wisdom bg dot md. Okay, okay, so now we are going to create the profile. So this is more like the profile for our AI agent. That's the one we're going to create here. Okay, so it's still the same process. Okay, like I said, the only difficult part about this is the part where you have to generate the tokens. But once you have generated the vocabulary, everything else becomes easy. Okay, so here I'm just going to say proceed. Okay, so that it proceeds now to create the directives, everything. Okay, the directives, as you can see, like I said, it's going to create the directives, all the folders necessary for it to do what it needs to do. Okay, so it's going to create everything. Okay, so as you can see, here, so here is the folder for the directives, execution and everything else. Okay, okay, so now this is going to create our profile. So as you can see, so this is where we're going to this is where our final, when it's done creating our profile for our AI agent, so this is where, this is the folder where we're going to have to access them. Right here, this profiles folder. Okay, and then the directives is how it's going to go about it, on how it's going to go about executing the task. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, so this is the directives folder. Okay, so now since it has created everything, let's now just paste in the source material, and then it's going to create the profile for our agent. Okay, it's going to create the profile for our agent. Okay, so the raw source material we're going to paste in this is the context profiles we are extracting area, if you remember. So those are the ones we are going to create so that it can compile the persona JSON profile. Okay, so if you remember, we are creating context profiles. So here, this is all the context profiles. So we are going to copy this, then we're going to paste it into this folder right here, the temp source material. Okay, so we're going to create a new file. Okay, so just going to name it wisdom. Okay, so wisdom.md. okay, and then here I'm going to paste in all the context profiles, and then after that I'm going to give it a command to say I have placed the raw. Sorry about the background noise, there's a big event going on around here. Okay, I've pasted the raw source material. So the raw source material is supposed to use. Okay, I've pasted the raw source material in the temp folder. Okay, in the temp folder. So please run the cyc. So this is now that's going to this is what is going to ground our agent. Okay, so that it doesn't act like any random AI. It acts like an actual person, the same way an actual person would think, the same way an actual person, the person we are mimicking talent, will go about their creative ways of coming up with how they come up with the dress code, the fashion designs and everything. The same way they go about it, that's how this is going to go about it. Okay, the same way they would go about it, that's how this is going to go about it. Okay, so this is more like the grounding part for our agent. Okay, so now after this we're going to get the profile in the so the profile we're going to get here in the context tokens we made earlier. We're going to fuse them together and then put them in our agent, and then we can start asking the agent to do any fashion related work we may wish to do. If you remember, this we are mimicking a talent of a person who is in the fashion design, the fashion industry. Okay, that's who we are mimicking. So Yeah, so let's just wait for it to make the profile, and then we can go on to the next part. Okay, so after this, after we're done with this excuse me, we're going to go to the next talent. Okay, so this is our face, so we are going to do 3. I'm going to show you how to steal or mimic 3 talents in this tutorial. 3. So this is our first one. Okay, we're going to go to our second, and then our third, and then you guys, just based on what I'm doing here, be able to pick it up and you're going to know. Okay, please save the file, press the file, and then let me know. Proceed on the file. It appears to be empty on disk. Oh, so we didn't save this. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to save it. Okay, okay, so I'm going to say I have saved it. Okay, so this is the okay, so I'm going to say I've saved it. So now it's going to, I forgot to save it, so it's saying it was empty. Okay, so let's see what it's saying. Okay, so running, so I'm running the, okay, has been saved. So as you can see here, it's saying it has been saved. Previously we didn't save it, so it couldn't continue to the next stage, but now that we have saved it, it's going now to create our profile and everything. Okay, okay, so as you can see, it's using Python. Okay, now we have Python installed, so everything is simple and direct, straightforward. Okay, yeah, okay, so it's generating, as you can see. So after this, the magic happens. Okay, after this, the magic happens. We have managed to clone or get the talent of any person we desire. And this person, it's this guy, Wisdom Kai. I don't know if I have butchered his name. Yeah, but this is our victim today. Sorry, my guy. Yeah, so let's just wait for it to be done, and then we can proceed to the next step of our agent. Okay, so in this whole process, if you have observed, I've used 3 agents. Okay, so I'm going to use 3 agents rather. So this is the second one. The one we're using to tokenize was the first one. This is the second one, and then after this we're going to go to the last final one, which is the actual agent which has the talent. Okay, so as you can see, so this is the persona. Okay, so this is the persona. So like I said, if you remember, I said we are going to mimic the talent of this person is creative. So as you can see here, this is, as you can see, so it has identified to say the type of talent is a creative visionary. Yeah, so this is a creative talent to come up with such dressing combos and everything like this. This is creativity. This is not an intelligent talent, and our agent here has specified to say it's a creative. Okay, so as you can see, so the weights are openness is 1. Okay, consciousness is 0.5, extravagation is 0.55 rather, sorry, agreeableness 0.5, patriotism. So okay, so as you can see, financial rigor 0, creative chaos 0, biases. Okay, so these are the biases and everything. So this is our persona. So now after this, we are now going to go to after this we are now going to the actual talent. Okay, we are now going to the actual talent, and now going to tell it to say design me an outfit for such an event, and then it will be able to design that outfit. So here, let me just, so this is the persona profile. Okay, I'll just saved it there. So now let's go to our actual agent, which is going to act like wisdom in terms of fashion and design. Okay, so this is the one. So this is if, as you can see, this is a different agent. Okay, it's a different agent. Okay, so I'm going to use in the same command I used here, which is to say instantiate my environment. Okay, so now after it has instantiated our environment, we're going to paste in the context profile in the persona type, and then after that we're going to tell it to say I have pasted in the persona type in the context, can you now do such and such for me? Okay, so here I'm going to say instantiate. Remember what I said, the most difficult part is the beginning. The beginning is where we have to create the context profile, but after we've done that, everything that comes later is easy. The most difficult part is the first part where you have to create the context profile and the tokenizer. Everything else is easy. Okay, everything else is easy. So instantiate my environment based on what's in Gemini.md. okay, so this is the last and final part. Now after this, everything is walk over. We just tell it to do what we want it to do, and it will do it. Okay, so let's just wait for it to do its work as we chill and relax. So this can be used for any type of talent. Okay, any type of talent. In this tutorial, might focused on the intellectual talent, but the next one I'll also do something about the physical talent. Let's say for those who are footballers. Okay, how can they use this? Let's say you want to mimic the talent of Cristiano Ronaldo. How do you do it? Okay, that's the one we're going to mimic next in our next in the next tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how to for those with physical talents. Okay, so as you can see, it has now created our environment. So as you can see here, this is where we're going to load our profile. Okay, our profile, and then here, this is where we're going to put our context profile, the one we are getting from the images. This is where we're going to put it here, the tokenized version. Okay, right. So now this is the part now where I get to upload the tokens. Okay, the vocabulary rather. So the tokens we created earlier are what going to be the vocabulary for our agent, and then the profile, you're going to paste in the profile here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a profile. So this is the profile, so I'm going to copy this. Okay, so the profile, so I'm going to get what is in here. This is just a template. I'm going to delete, then I'm going to save. So I've updated the profile. Okay, and then here the next thing is in the temp, which is the first one on top. I'm now going to create the vocabulary. So the vocabulary is what is more like the brain for our agent. Okay, so I'm just going to create a new, so I'm going to create a file, and I'm going to name it to say vocabulary. Okay, so this is going to be our vocabulary. So in our vocabulary, I'm going to come here, I'm going to get the context profiles we got from those images is what I'm going to paste in here in our vocabulary. Okay, I'm going to save. Okay, so I'm going to say I have updated the profile and temp. Okay, I have added the vocabulary okay, so I'm going to say I have added the vocabulary. So here I'm telling to say you're now going to operate or think based on what is in the vocabulary in profile. And the profile for the talent in profile folder. Okay, so now I'm going to say, so here I'm going to say to instantiate the environment based on those updates. You are now Wisdom, a designer. So I'm going to say, instantiate the the environment. Okay, okay, based on those two updates, you are now you are now Wisdom the designer. Okay, so now I'm activating the agent by telling it, say you're now Wisdom the designer. Okay, so you're now Wisdom the designer. So this is going to activate the agent. So I'm going to send it. So it's going to check what's in the vocabulary and everything else, and then okay, and then after it confirms to say it has instantiated as Wisdom, it's now going to, so as you can see, it's analyzed the default talent, which is this one here, and then it also is analyzing the JSON. Okay, so it's integrating the vocabulary and everything else. Okay, okay, so here I'm proceeding to construct a vocabulary in GSTR entropy vectors. Okay, Wisdom here, I've engineered a new implementation schema to write the creative visionary parameters provided, as you can see, parameters and the provided master context profile. I'm proceeding to construct a vocabulary to ingest your high entropy for the okay information pathway. So I'm just going to say proceed. Okay, so now after it's proceeding, after it's done, I'm going to ask it, as have you activated as Wisdom, and then it's going to say yes. When it says yes, I'm not going to give it a task. Okay, so it's creating everything, as you can see. So this is here, so this is the Wisdom. Okay, it's creating everything. Okay, so this is AI talent, as you can see. Okay, so this is Wisdom, if any. So after it's done, I'm going to now give it a task to do. Okay, so as you can see, it's analyzing the vocabulary and everything else. So the only thing it hasn't updated is the directives folder. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to say, why is the directives folder empty? Because you're supposed to have directives here, which is going to tell the agent on how it's going to do its work. Okay, okay, so let's just wait for it to complete. And then after that, we can proceed to the next stage, which is it doing now the work. So it's going to take some time, but once it's done everything, I'll be back and then we can continue from where we left on. Okay, so now as you can see, it's now done. So as you can see here, it's saying you can run now the full breakdown. The environment is now fully operational and thinking. So this meaning we have successfully managed to steal Wisdom's talent. So now let's put our talent to the test. Okay, so here I'm just going to give it a simple task. Okay, it should create an outfit for me. Okay, so I'm going to tell it, say design an outfit for me to wear at the Met Gala. I'm an African. Okay, so design an outfit for me to wear at the Met Gala. An African president. Okay, I'm an African president. I'm an African president. What else can I put? Okay, I'm African president. Okay, give detailed explanations. So I'm going to say give detailed explanations of your design and why, plus generate an image of how it will look when I put it on. Okay, so now it's working. So as you can see, it's generating, so meaning it's now making an outfit for us, as acting as Wisdom. Okay, so now it's saying text. Okay, so as you can see, now it's thinking. So this is the okay, so now it's generating an image. Okay, so as you can see, he's wearing a hyper-realistic fashion of a this is it now generating the image. Okay, so this is the image. Okay, as you can see, it's an image of someone at the Met Gala, an African president, and this is exactly how a designer would design it. Okay, as you can see. Okay, so he is saying I have generated. Okay, so as you can see, so this is design. So here, let's see what so the sovereign algorithm. Okay, so this is now the technical description. So vertical default grazing helmet. So this is it describing the its design. Okay, so light absorption constructed from, so even the materials, it's explaining the materials. Okay, the color is textile, so everything. So I'm not a designer, I wouldn't understand most of this. So embroidery, exclusion, aesthetic. So as you can see here, saying opulence is, which is 1, gold and velvet, the material of kings. So this is its logic. Okay, so average grade, the substitution of fabric with synthetic material for the yoke height 0.9. Okay, so here, so this is the design rationale. So the result is designed to function as a visual event horizon. Deep black velvet absorbs the chaos of the Met Gala red carpet, red white noise, while the gold lattice acts as a high. Okay, so this is beacon reframes the African president, not just, so as you can see here it's explained. So here it's saying this design reframes the African president not just as a political figure but as an architect of the future. You are not attending the ball, you are observing it from a higher presence. Okay, so I'm just going to say design. So I'm going to take to design. So I'm going to say design another one for my kids. Okay, so design a different one for my kids graduation. Okay, yeah, so let's see what to, so it's going to design something for a completely different event. Okay, for my kids graduation. Okay, my kids graduation. Okay, graduation. University. So I'm going to say my kids university graduation. Okay, so let's just try to stretch this out to see. Okay, university graduation. University graduation. So one is in China, the other one is in the UK, both male. Okay, so I'm going to say generate images for both. Okay, or maybe just to stress it further, I'm going to say the one in China is male. Okay, so the one in China is male and the one in UK is female. Okay, so here we're stressing its capabilities to see if we have really truly managed to steal wisdom's talent. Okay, so let's say we might say this was a lucky once off. Okay, but let's see what it will do for a different task, which is graduation. Okay, so as you can see, so this is the African king. Okay, okay, it's okay, but not very impressive. So this is for the one in China, for graduation. Okay, so this is for graduation. Okay, so it's simple. Okay, so as you can see, so this is now for the one in the UK. Okay, so let's go and look at its rationale. So this is the outfit it has designed for the one in the UK, which is the daughter. Okay, so now we're going to see where is the rationale why it has designed like this. Okay, but this one looks good for the one in the UK. Okay, this design. Okay, so this is for the one in China. Okay, this is the design for the outfit for the guy. Okay, so design, so the silhouette is a curly single breasted mundane cut that modernized with a teak wool fabric, wrinkle resistance. Okay, cut sharper is the cut is sharper than tradition, mirroring the versatility of the Shanghai skyline. Okay, so this is it explaining why it designed like this. So as you can see, the way this is working, it's more like you're talking to an actual designer. This is not just like any random AI. There's even an explanation behind everything it did. Okay, so I can say for the male, I can tell you to say I don't like it. It looks too simplistic, and they need to update it. I'll show you. Let's just go through its explanation so that you see. So the accent, a razor thin pep of. Okay, so this is, so the logic is designed to be worn under the graduation gown without bow. Okay, but to stand alone as a piece of architectural dignity at the reception. Okay, it's quite impressive. Okay, but let's go a little bit over the top. I like this one. This one looks good. In the context, as you can see, this is the UK. You know what I mean? The beauty in the architecture. Yeah. So okay, this one is, I'll give it this one an 8 out of 10. Okay, and then this one is a 5. So I'd say I don't like the one for the male. It's too simplistic. And then we'll see the other design to come up with. Okay, so I'm going to say the design for the male is too simplistic. Okay, so the design for the male is too simplistic. So after this, we're going to see what is it's going to come up with. Okay, so I'm going to say it's too simplistic. It's too simplistic. Improve it to be a what can I say, to be a cultural statement. Yeah, I think that will yeah, I think that will carry more weight. So I'm just going to say improve it to be a cultural statement. Okay, a cultural statement. So now we're going to see what it will bring. Okay, so let's see what it will design. As you can see, the way I'm interacting with it, it's more like I'm interacting with an actual person. Okay, this is not just a generic AI like ChatGPT where you say give me an image for what. This has as you can see, it has soul and human touch to it, even this one. Okay, as you can see from what it has generated. Okay, so as you can see now, it has some touch to it. Okay, so as you can see, it has even remembered that the guy is in China and everything else. Okay, so now let's see its explanation. Okay, so this is the logic. A sea of black grounds, he wears his culture in his the guy it is and okay. So synthesis, both designs are common DNA structure integrity. They are not soft garments, they are constructed forms that project authority tailored to respect the specific cultural gravity of their respective locations. Okay, so that's the rationale. Okay, yeah, this one looks good. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically it. I've shown you guys how to steal any person's God-given talent, and this time we're stealing the talent of this guy. Wisdom. Okay, so let's check him out. This one. Okay, this one. Okay, so when you look at his outfits in these images, it's more like him actually. There's that human feel and human touch in this. Okay, just the way this guy would do it. Okay, so okay, so let's say design another one for them. This time around it's going to be for a tech fashion show. Okay, so I'm going to say design new ones for them to wear at a tech tech fashion show. Okay, tech fashion show. Okay, so in this I'm just being vague. I haven't provided that much detail, but it's going to use its own knowledge and intuition to come up with a design. So let's wait for it. Okay, so as you can see, I'm currently, as you can see, let's go back here. Okay, where is, okay, so here this is its dot, so my focus is okay. So let's see what it has generated. Okay, so this is for the male. Okay, so this is for a tech fashion show. So this is in China, as you can see everything here. Okay, so this is what it has designed. Okay, so let's see what it has done for the girl. Okay, and this is for the girl. Okay, a tech fashion show. As you can see, everything is based on the environment where these guys are. Okay, so this guy is in China, as you can see. So even the design, the the design test mimics China, okay, mimics the China population, okay, the young population. This is, if you go online, this is mostly how people in this hemisphere dress, as you can see, okay. And then this is for the one in UK, okay. So here the silhouette, a technical bow, the traditional Vermeer's robes are restructured using Met Gala, okay. So this is it explaining everything. So the utility, modular magnetic pockets, okay, more system are focused directly on the lobe, allowing for customizable loadouts. So they take a holographic digital SAS floating, okay. So this is the this is what it's talking about, as you can see, okay. So now this is based on what we have fed this, okay, based on this guy's talent, okay, based on this guy's talent, okay, based on this guy's talent, wisdom, okay. As you can see, this guy's talent is what we are using to come up with this, okay. So let me just say design another one for an outdoor event, simple outdoor event, but they should stand out. So this is everything here. So the sun, okay, and the software, okay. This is, yeah, this is very impressive, okay. This is has that human touch to it. As you can see, it's not just any kind of generic design. This is what an actual human designer with experience, years of experience, would design, as you can see here, okay. So let's say design, okay, something for an outdoor event, okay. So it's going to be simple but outstanding, okay. Simple but outstanding, okay. Outdoor pool event, okay. It's going to be simple but outstanding. So let's see what it's going to give us, okay. So now this is just the talent we've mimicked or copied here is for the people in the fashion industry. It would have been the same for maybe into manufacturing, electronics, football, okay. If it was football, I'll show you in the next tutorial. If it was football, it would have been giving us ways on what to do, okay. Things like how to train for us to maybe have a skill like Cristiano Ronaldo, okay. The AI agent talent we make based on Cristiano Ronaldo's talent will be able to show that that for us, okay. So as you can see, I'm now focused on the, okay. So it's now generating, okay. So it's an outdoor pool event. So let's see. So okay, so no visual reader currently, okay. All right, so it's unable to generate. I've reached the limit for generations, okay. But as you can see from these two previous generations. This doesn't feel like just any random AI design generation, but it has some sort to it. Okay, so you can even ask it to say, how do I now, how what do I want to say, how do I saw this, like the steps on so I'm going to say, give me step by step on how to make these outfits. These stitch gala outfits. Okay, outfits start to finish. Okay, and then yeah, so that's basically it. As you can see, we have created our AI talent mimicking wisdom. Okay, so this is the code for all this. We don't have to touch this. Okay, just leave it as it is. All right, so it's now okay. So this is the okay, so these are documents, and the three take, so you say this document save as the technical bible for a production team. Start the 3D printers immediately. God requires. Okay, so this is how you go about it for the so basic Excel. Okay, for, let's see, for the girl. All right guys, so yeah, that's it.